Trend di mercato, futuro del vino italiano e suggestioni di nuove scoperte dall'Italia enoica. Abbiamo cercato di far luce sull'attualità con un'intervista doppia insieme a due firme della rivista Enthusiast. Iniziamo. Nome e cognome.
I'm Danielle Callegari.
Jeff Porter.
Quali regioni vinicole italiane segui per Enthusiast?
I cover Tuscany and the south of Italy.
I cover Marche, Umbria, Emilia-Romagna, Liguria, Piedmont, Val d'Aosta, Lombardia, Veneto and Friuli Venezia Giulia.
Come definiresti in 5 parole il vino italiano?
Oh no.
5 words for her.
5 words?
Yikes.
Oh, okay. Exciting, satisfying, classic, innovative, delicious.
Man.
Haha, I got to go first.
Can I use some of the same words? All right.
No, you don't.
I don't? Okay. 5 words to describe Italian wine. Exciting. Evolutionary. Historical. Awesome. What's a synonym for delicious?
I don't know, yummy?
Yummy.
Cosa cerchi nel calice quando degusti un vino?
I look for a wine that has an identity and intention, a wine that is a clear expression of a place and the people from that place, and a wine that is something that brings me joy.
Okay, you gotta ask me the questions first.
Yeah, it's very unfair.
When I taste a wine, I'm looking for a wine that should be as it is, that brings joy, that's delicious, that's structurally sound, that's interesting, captivating to me, and that's telling me a story.
Pensi che l'Italia del vino sia allineata con le nuove tendenze dei consumatori che cercano vini più freschi e pronti da bere?
I think luckily there's plenty of regions within Italy that have always made wines like that. So they were ahead of the trend before there was the trend. There's some regions that have obviously historically made rich, full-bodied wines, and that's how they are. But the beauty of wine is that what we're seeing in Italian wine is they're still both telling their story, and I think they both have their place. And that's what's cool.
Yes, I think speaking of the things that define Italian wine, it's the fact that every style is represented here. So there isn't one kind of Italian wine. Italian wine isn't all rich, bold, tannic, intense, challenging. It can be naturally very light. Ethereal is a word that we like to use that just brings to life the soil and a very fresh and easy to love kind of profile. So all of that's available, and the great thing is that you don't have to choose any one wine. The market might be leaning a little bit in one direction or another, but every day, any day, you can have all the kinds of wine. So Italy gives you that, and you have l'imbarazzo della scelta.
Secondo voi c'è un arresto nei consumi del vino rosso?
I mean, I drink a lot of red wine. I mean, it's a good. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if you can use this, but I don't know. I mean, like, I see the majority of restaurants still in New York City, when I talk to sommeliers, they sell more red wine. The majority of wine sold at retail is red wine. I don't know if there's a crisis within red wine. I think there's just a shifting of palate towards more wines of authenticity and specificity. So if your wine tastes homogeneous, like anywhere in the world, it doesn't taste like it's specifically from a place, that's a problem, not that if it's red, white, or pink.
I agree with that. Also, I would say that once again, it really depends on what kind of lens you're using to look at the market, because to talk about trends, we're already in the American market looking at a very small piece of America. Not that many Americans have any conceptions about wine, and the ones that do have preconceptions can be extremely generic and not actually experientially based. So
I think instead of following trends, people just need to tell their story.
Yeah.
They need to capture more people.
Yes.
Not just say the trend data is this, ergo we do this. Just be you.
Yeah.
And
Authenticity
make
sells.
that truthful.
Yeah. Genuine, you know, I always use the soldati we were talking about yesterday, alla ricerca dei vini genuini. That's what sells always, right? That's the thing. And particularly in a market where people don't have that depth of wine culture that gives them a sense of comfort with wine, just in a very general landscape. If they can feel connected to the people, you're going to be able to promote that wine. If they are being told that this wine suits certain styles, then your consumer will always be fair weather, right?
Quali sono i vini italiani che oggi sono ancora da scoprire e un giorno saranno le nuove star del mercato?
I think more people should be drinking, so I think Lambrusco should come back bigger into everyone's consciousness. I think, I know you're going to say this too, but I also agree with it. Abruzzo has some of the most potential, like with Pecorino, Trebbiano, and Montepulciano, all three grapes that are just absolutely stunning. I would like to see more people drink Rosese from Liguria. I like Rosese a lot. And then, you know, I think Friuli, the grapes that most people don't talk about, like Malvasia, Ribolla Gialla, Friulano, I think those are some of the most interesting grapes in Italy as well. And I would like to see people like explore that. And so, Refosco and Schippettino too. So like the super traditional reds and whites from Friuli would be on my yay rah list.
I think the short answer is the entire Italian South. Everywhere except for, con eccezione dei vini etnei, forse sono ancora da scoprire. Our market has everything. If you're in a major urban center in the US, most of these wines have some kind of representation, but people don't have a knowledge of them. And I think there are very, very few regions in Italy, if any, where there's not some great wine being made. There may not be lots and lots of representatives, but there are always a few that are really shining stars, and everyone is excited to learn more about them the second they have a sip because they didn't know it was out there. And that's how you get your new consumer every time, right? You have somebody who thought they knew something about wine, or thought they didn't like wine at all, or thought they didn't like a certain color of wine or a certain style of wine, or are scared or put off by how strange and specific something is, the Schiopettinos of this world, and then they drink it and say, wow, that's so good, I love it. And from there, it's just floodgates.
Italian wine.
Cheers to Italian wine.